Hello, welcome. Today we're going to do a quick little class that can help you to get out of your mind if you're stuck in some worry thinking or just feel like you're stuck up here for any reason. This class will use breath and use the movement to kind of come back down to earth. So, all we need today is a space to practice on the ground, on your mat, on a towel or blanket, doesn't matter. And then if you have a yoga strap, we might use one of these. And if you don't have a yoga strap at home, you can always just use a regular old belt or a long scarf. So grab what you need and let's meet on our mats. So we will start in a seated position. So you've got a few options for how you'd like to sit. If you want to sit on the ground, I always suggest sitting on something to give you a little bit of elevation. So I've got a little cushion here, but you can always just fold up a blanket or a pillow. Or if you don't find it's comfortable to sit on the ground for any length of time, then just sit on a chair. You can do all of this on a chair as well. So take a moment to get yourself comfy. And once you're here, rest your hands, soften your shoulders, soften your gaze or close your eyes, and take a couple of deeper breaths. Just arriving right here in this moment, arriving in your body. Take a little bit of time to just check in with yourself. Notice how you feel, noticing from the inside out. Now bring your attention to your breathing. Same thing, just notice, how does your breath feel right now? And pay particular attention to where you feel your breath. So it could be that you feel your breath at your nostrils. It could be that you feel it at your chest. Maybe you feel a bit of movement at your belly. Doesn't matter. Just notice what's here when you pay attention. And now bring your hands to your belly. And as you inhale, think about inhaling all the way down to your low belly. See if you can sense a bit of movement with your hands. Does your belly feel like it can expand a little bit with your inhale and settle back with your exhale? And if you can't feel anything, that's fine. If breathing into your belly sounds kind of kooky, that's okay. Just breathe nice and deep. And just start to get acquainted with the feeling of your breath, the rhythm of your breath. And let's try to move along with the rhythm of breath. So, with your next inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Draw your palms together. And then with your exhale, trace your hands down the center line of your body. And now we're going to try that a few more times. See if you can just let movement follow the rhythm of your breath. So you don't need to change the rhythm of your breath. See if you can let the movement get behind and follow that rhythm. And if that feels uncomfortable, if it feels like you're kind of forcing your breath or struggling to line up breath and movement, then don't worry about it. Just think about moving in a nice, smooth, easeful way. And the next time you bring your hands down towards the center of your chest, we'll change it up. And if you're moving with your breath, you can inhale to reach one arm up and one arm down. And as you exhale, bring your palms back together. Same thing, move with your breath or go at your own pace. See what actually works for you today. Try it a couple more times. Reaching your arms away from each other as if you're creating more space in your body. Let this one go. Release your arms, shake them out. Bring Bring your hands back to rest. And let's do a few shoulder rolls. Simply bringing your shoulders up and back and down and rolling them around a couple of times, just like that. And the other way a couple of times, forward and down. And let it go. Give them a bit of a shake. Let them come back to a more resting position. And now bring your attention to your spine. Picture lengthening through your spine, as if you could lengthen from your belly button down and up at the same time, so that you could get just a little bit taller. And not so much that you add tension, like lifting your shoulders up or holding your breath. Just experiment. Can you picture adding a bit of length, a bit of that sense of reaching down and up at the same time? And then soften, let that go. Let's try that a couple of times. It's this subtle, tiny movement. Just explore. Maybe as you inhale, you can lengthen. And as you exhale, you can relax. A couple times, try it out. And the next time you lengthen through your spine, stay there. Bring your arms up overhead. Try to keep all that length and just bring your right hand down to touch the ground or your chair by your side. And from this nice long spine, let's go over into a side bend. Nice lengthening out through the side of your waist. And as you inhale, come back to center. Bring the right arm up, send the left down. Add a bit of length to your spine again, and go the other way. And then come on back up. We're going to do that a few more times. If you like, you can go with your breath. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to side bend. As you inhale, come back to center and exhale, go the other way. Same thing here. Go with your breath if you like. Pick your own pace if that feels better. Whatever actually works for you, just flowing side to side. And every time you come back to the center, see if you can reestablish that sense of length in your spine. And let it go. Relax your arms, shake them out. Rest your hands, rest your shoulders. Take a breath. Okay, let's try a twist now. So for this one, just bring your hands to rest on your sides, maybe kind of feeling for the bones of your ribs on the sides. And once you've got that, soften your shoulders so you're not hiking them up towards your ears, but lengthen through your spine. Again, see if you can picture that length without adding tension. And from this nice long spine, we're going to twist. So just turn your ribs a little bit more to the right, but the lower half of your body can stay right where it is. It doesn't need to move at all. And as you inhale, come back to center. And as you exhale, go the other way. We're going to do the same thing, just flowing side to side. If you're moving with your breath, inhale, come back to center, reestablish that length in your spine, and exhale to go to the sides or pick your own pace. We'll try it a couple more times. And if you're moving with your breath, try to allow the rhythm of your breath to be natural. So try not to force your breath to move at any particular pace. Just see how that goes. Okay, let it go. Shake it out. Nice. Take a moment to just rest your hands and your shoulders. Breathe easy. Okay, let's switch it up and come onto our hands and knees for tabletop pose. Get yourself comfortable on your hands and your knees. If you need extra padding under your hands or your knees, you can grab that here as well. And once you're here, we're going to move through cat and cow pose in our spine. So tune into your breath again. And as you inhale, arch your back, lift your tailbone, lift your chest. And then as you exhale, round your back, tipping your tailbone down, curling your chin in closer to your chest. And then just keep going. Same thing here. Move with your breath if that feels natural, or pick your own pace. Just try to find a rhythm of movement and breath that feels easeful. And then come back to a more neutral spine. Take a moment to breathe easy. And you can rest here in a tabletop, or you can go back to a seat. Or if you like, you can try child's pose. And for that one, just walk your knees a little wider apart, bring your big toes closer together, sit your hips back, and just reach forward. Let your forehead rest either on the ground, or if it's not really comfortable to do that, you can rest your head on your hands, like this, or like this. Take a moment here. Notice how you feel once again. Notice where you feel your breathing. Okay, and when you're ready, come on all the way down to laying on your belly. And once you're here, place your hands on the ground by the sides of your ribs, just wherever they feel reasonably comfortable. And then roll your shoulders up and back. And try to lengthen through your spine in this position. So think about reaching your tailbone down towards your heels, as if you had a nice long tail that you could reach back. And at the same time, reach the crown of your head forward. And from here, tune into your breath. And as you inhale, lift your head and your chest up a little ways away from the ground. And as you exhale, lower it back down. And we're going to flow through this movement a few times. Maybe you want to keep going with your breath. Maybe you don't. See what actually works for you. And let's let it go. Find a place where your head and your arms can rest. You can rock your hips from side to side a couple of times. Might feel good for your back. And now from here, keep your head and your arms resting, but one at a time, lift a leg up and reach it back. So that it feels like you could get your legs a little bit longer. And then bend your knees and lift your feet up towards the ceiling. And flex your feet so the soles of your feet are touching, they're reaching up or facing up towards the ceiling. And now all we're gonna do is let our feet fall out to the sides away from each other. And then back in. And let's try that a few times. Same thing, go with your breath or pick your own pace. Just see what works for you. And the next time you bring your feet back up to center, you can let this one go, or you can kind of let your feet go side to side, going in the same direction. All right, and let's slowly come back up to a tabletop. Okay, once we're here, let's go into a downward facing dog. So I'll show you downward facing dog first, and I'll show you a couple of alternatives after that. And then we'll walk through that downward facing dog a little bit slower, piece by piece, for those of you who want to take that option. So downward facing dog, you've probably seen before. It looks like this. So resting on hands and feet. An alternative, if your wrists aren't feeling up to that today, is to keep your knees on the ground. Reach your hands forward and just lengthen through your spine like this. So you're reaching your hips back, planting your hands down on the ground. So that's puppy pose. Another alternative is to do downward facing dog with your elbows and your forearms on the ground. So that you're lifting your hips up, but you're resting on your forearms instead of your hands. So if you want one of those alternatives, you can go into that position now. If you want to do downward facing dog, let's do that one together. Starting from tabletop, walk your hands out to the sides a little bit. So you've got your hands, instead of shoulder distance apart, they're a little wider than shoulder distance apart. Add a little bit of a turnout in your arms so that your fingers are pointing a little out to the sides. Press your hands down into the ground and keep that nice engagement. Walk your knees back just a little bit, tuck your toes under, and then lift your hips all the way up and back. Nice. We'll take a few breaths here, whether you're in downward facing dog or one of those alternatives. And if you're in downward facing dog, let's pedal our legs out by bending one knee and pressing the opposite heel down into the ground, and then switching. And try that out a few times. Take a break whenever you're ready. And then we'll let this go. Let's all make our way back to tabletop position. Nice. Okay. And again, rest in table or in a seated position or in your child's pose. Find whichever one suits you. And when you're ready, come back to your tabletop pose. Okay. And from here, let's come into a low lunge. So walk your hands over to the right and bring your left leg forward like this. And then you can place your hands back on either side of the front foot. Awesome. And once you've got this shape, let's bring some engagement to our legs. So try to drag your front foot and your back knee towards each other. Feel the muscles in your legs start to wake up when you do that, and come on up. Bring your hands up to your hips. Awesome. Once you're here, you can just stay here with your hands on your hips if you like and breathe easy here. Or you can add a bit of movement, reaching your arms up towards the ceiling. And now we're going to flow with our breath or at your own pace a little bit here. So as you inhale, get a little bit taller, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, lower your arms down and just curl in a little bit. Maybe fingertips come to the ground, maybe you curl your head in. It's up to you. Again, as you inhale, lift up, reach up. As you exhale, lower down. Maybe just a little bit, maybe all the way. It's up to you. Let's try this a few more times. Okay. Now you can stay with this movement or you can try it in a high lunge. Tuck your toes under on that back foot. Lift your back knee up off of the ground and make your way up into a high lunge like this. Nice. Okay, this time pressing front foot and back foot down to the ground, pulling them towards each other for a nice strong foundation. If you like to add the arms here, you can. As you inhale, lift up, reach up. As you exhale, curl down a little bit and keep going. It might be that you just move through your arms. As you exhale, you could lower your arms down. As you inhale, you can reach them up. Make this movement work for you. Get creative. See what your body would actually like to do here. Okay, let's let this one go. Wherever you are, we're going to make our way up to a forward fold at the top of our mat. So if you're in your high lunge, you can bring your hands up close to the level of your toes on that front foot and then shift your weight forward and step the back foot forward. But take whatever path suits you to come up to your forward fold. And once you're here, bend your knees. Let your hands rest either on the ground or on your legs like this. And let your head just be heavy for a breath or two. And then come on all the way up to standing. Nice slow transition as you come up. If you like, once you get to standing, you can reach your arms up. And then let them come all the way back down. Just give everything a bit of a shake out here. Nice. Take a moment here to pause. Let your arms rest. Breathe easy. Okay. And come on to standing with your feet a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. And as you inhale, let's bring our arms back up. And just hold onto your right wrist with your left hand like this. Feel both feet on the ground. Feel as if you're nice and connected to the ground, almost as if you had roots growing down into the ground. Keep that connection with the ground as you lengthen through your spine again. Just get a little bit taller. Now we're going to side bend over to the left. Nice. Take a breath here. And then come back up. Switch your hands. Lengthen through your spine and go the other way. Let's do this a few more times. Go with your breath. Pick your own pace, whichever you'd like. Every time you come back to the center, make your spine a little bit taller. And then we'll let this go. Release your arms, shake them out. Nice. Okay. And now stand with your feet a comfortable distance apart. Bring your hands to your hips. And we're going to fold forward. And as you do, think about hinging at your hips. So when you fold forward, the fold is happening at your hip joints, not necessarily in your spine. So try and keep your spine as neutral as you can to start off with. So take an inhale here. And as you exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward. See what kind of a forward fold you can do without rounding through your spine. Just get curious. And as you inhale, come back up. And as you exhale, fold back down. Try this one a couple of times. Okay, and now as we go, if you'd like, if you know your back is agreeable to it, as you fold forward, you can let your spine curl forward. Maybe bring your hands down. And try this a few times. You might want to go even slower than the pace of your breath for these forward folds. Try not to get dizzy as you go down and up. And now we'll add one more piece. As you do this forward fold, if you like, you can bring your arms up as you come back up to standing. And as you fold forward, you can let them come forward and down like this. And the next time you come back up, we'll stay up. Maybe reach your arms up. And let them go. Take a moment to just give everything a bit of a wiggle. Okay. And now we're going to put some of those movements together. And if you've got a yoga strap or a belt or anything like it, you can use it here. So hold that strap if you've got it a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart, whatever's comfortable for your arms and your shoulders, actually. Stand with your feet a little bit wider then hips width apart, and then bring your arms up. And if you don't have a strap, you can just bring your arms up without it. It's perfectly fine. Okay, from here, we're going to do a little bit of a side bend. And then soften your knees and start to bring in a little bit of a forward fold. And as you fold forward, sweep over to the other side and come back up through a bit of a side bend. And let's do that a couple of times. Go the other way this time. Take your own pace. You might want to slow this one right down. And you can make this movement as big or as small as you like. You might be adding a really big forward fold, or you might be just folding forward just a touch as you sweep across. It's up to you. Nothing specific. Just let this be a nice, easeful, flowy movement. And once you finish this next one, we'll let this go. Come back up to the center, reach your arms up. And exhale, let them go. Shake them out. Give everything a bit of a wiggle. Nice. And come on back to just standing still. Find a comfortable standing position. Let your arms just rest. Let your shoulders be soft. Breathe easy. Okay. And now we're ready for a restful position. So you can come down to laying on your back if that's comfortable. You're welcome to sit in a chair or lay down in a different position. You might want to lay on your belly or your side. Doesn't really matter. Our only goal is to get really nice and comfortable. And if you've got some extra pillows and blankets around, you're welcome to have a rolled blanket under your head or underneath your knees. Totally up to you. Just get yourself comfy. And if you are laying on your back, just take a moment to feel the back of your body on the ground. Notice which parts of you are in contact with the ground. Notice which parts are not. Maybe you can notice your low back curving up away from the ground or the back of your neck. And then invite a sense of heaviness to your whole body. As you continue to breathe, you might feel a little bit more of a feeling of heaviness with each exhale. As if you could just soften and let your body relax into the support of the ground with each breath. And take this time to give yourself complete permission to rest. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just give yourself this time. I'll finish up the video for today, but I really encourage you to stay here in your resting pose for another 5 or 10 minutes.